All right, today we're going to look at the Kentucky Oaks, and there is rain in the forecast in Louisville for Thursday and Friday. It's possible that we catch a sloppy track here in the Oaks, so we'll keep that in mind as we go through these horses. The number one horse early on for Saffie Joseph, he run once on a sloppy track, and it was a dismal performance. A maiden optional claiming race at Aqueduct, only run a 48 buyer and got beat at 6-5. It said climbed. You see climbed here, and generally what that means is the horse hated the kickback. So the horse is on a sloppy track here, a sealed sloppy track back in 8th. And the reason why he was climbing, he didn't like that dirt in his face. He had the rail that day. Might catch the rail on a sloppy track again, and it's not going to go well for him. He ran pretty well in the Gazelle last time. Only got beat a nose by Ballerina de Oro. They got the rail. I just don't like anything about this horse. The two horses, Simply Joking. This horse debuted in a stake race, a PA bred. They only paid $65,000 for him. They debut him in an open stake race at the fairgrounds, and he took money. I mean, he had to be training like a world beater, and he win the race in his debut. Wins the Silver Bullet Day on the slop. He can certainly handle the slop. He's Dubai mayor. Dubai loved the slop. You know, the fantasy last time he run a really good second, but the concern here was Simply Joking. This horse looks like he's got to do it from the front end. He's a clear-cut speed horse, and there's two other speeds in the race. Number 7, Lacara, who, you know, Lacara's trainer said that they're absolutely going for the lead. They're gunning for the lead this race, and you know, supposedly this horse is just training lights out right now at Churchill. Lacara, that's all I hear about is how good Lacara is working. And, you know, Lacara is going to make life real tough for the two, and so will 5Gs. Now, George Weaver says 5Gs can rate, but 5G might have the most speed of anyone in this race. You know, went wire to wire last time in the Gulfstream Oaks. Made the lead clear in a 13-horse field from the 13 hole. In the Honeybee 13 hole, Irad's not a big sender. The horse made the lead. So there are a couple of real quick horses in there, and that is going to work against Simply Joking, the two. Very nice horse with a very big future. I just don't like the circumstances of this race. I just see two other speeds in there. One's going to be sent. The horse can handle a sloppy track, but, you know, they're going to have to take him. They're either going to have to go too fast early or take him behind horses, and neither option sounds appealing to me. I'm going to play against. I've got a lot of respect for the talent that Simply Joking has, but I'm just playing against her in this race. Number 3, Fawnley, is just plain not good enough, in my opinion. She won her debut by 4 lengths at Tampa. Bill Montfurster Crawford was second in the race. And then she won the Virginia Oaks, and that was over a lightning fast track. I mean, they went, you know, the Virginia Derby was that day, and the Lucas horse American Promise run like some crazy time for 1 1/8 miles, and you know, she won the race, but only got a 70 buyer, got low numbers on everyone's figures. And, you know, this filly's biting off more than she can chew here. This is just too big of a step up. The 4 is Drexel Hill. Drexel Hill is a little bit interesting. You know, she stumbled it says stumbled at the start last time. Stumbled really badly. I thought she ran a really nice race when she won the Busher. Her Silver Bullet Day wasn't too bad either. She sat off Simply Joking and finished 3rd, Simply Joking, and Bless the Broken, who we'll talk a lot more about later. Not a bad effort. She's got the points. She's working well, but there's just, you know, she's just got to make too big of a step forward. I mean, I see her running, you know, a little, maybe outrunning her odds slightly, but I just don't see her making a big step forward, and that's what she needs. You know, if you're spreading in exotic tickets and you expect this hot pace to play out, it's a good horse to throw in for third or fourth. Quick Kick, the 5, is the perfect underneath horse. Quick Kick is, you know, she had that nice maiden win at Saratoga. Then she went to Keeneland in the Alcibiades. Got some pace that day, 46-4. And it was a real speed favoring track. She was like the only closer that did anything that day and run a good second to Immersive. Finished 2 lengths in front of Quiet Side, who is a strong contender in this race on paper. And then she went to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, and you know she kind of blew the start there, but got a big setup. They went real fast, and all she could manage to do was kind of clunk up for third. But third in the Breeders' Cup at Del Mar, you know, a Kentucky horse shipping out, 2-year-old filly from, you know, who had starts in New York and was based in Kentucky, shipping out there is a tough ask. And, you know, her 2 starts back in the Honeybee and Fairgrounds Oaks, she really got no pace relative to what she should get in here. And she just kind of, you know, made a tiny little middle move and, you know, a flat stretch run. She's begging for a fast pace and is going to get it here. She's sneaky to get on the ticket. I'm putting her on all my tickets as a, you know, especially in that third slot. I see her grinding her into the ticket from off the pace. And as far as the wet track, I think she might love that. Graham 6 has had three different foals run the best race, their best number on a wet track. And one of those 3 foals is named Seymour Deeney. And Seymour Deeney, you know, he had 2 routes on a wet track, and he run off the TV screen in both of them. He won them both by double-digit lengths. In one race, he got 133 time form figure. I think it was like 114 buyer figure, 133 time form figure. You know, won a $250,000 stake by like 11 lengths in the mud. And, you know, Quick Kick is going to love everything about this race as far as the fast pace and the wet track. Quick Kick's going to love everything about this race as far as, you know, the wet track and the fast pace she should get. And she's going to surprise some people. She's going to run back to this Alcibiades race here, I think. So she's going to be on all of my tickets. Number 6, Ballerina d'Oro. I really, really liked her Demoiselle. She had post 10 in the Demoiselle. There wasn't much pace. She picked her way through the pack, run a good second. But, you know, Chad Brown hasn't had the greatest of starts in 2025. Didn't do too strongly in Florida. And, you know, she was a little bit disappointing in the Devonadale, but there was no pace. And then the Gazelle, she got a pretty good trip, but she didn't get any real hot pace. This is a horse that, you know, if they do go too fast, she's gonna really relish it. She's never gotten a fast pace before. I mean, there's 2 horses in this race that got, you know, triple-digit late pace figures. That's the 6 and the 5 Quick Kick. And Quick Kick has had fast paces. I mean, 44-4 in the juvenile. You know, Ballerina d'Oro has never seen that type of fast pace and really wants it. It's just, you know, you watch the Gazelle and, you know, it's just, I thought she got a good trip and was really lucky to beat a horse named Early On, who we just flat out dismissed in this race. And Ballerina d'Oro for underneath and exotics, but nothing more than that. Lucara, you know, Lucara's training phenomenally. It's all or nothing with her. She's going to blast out and go to the lead. She's got 2 horses that I think are naturally quicker than her in 5G, and the 2 horse is also, I think, a little bit naturally quicker. But they're on a mission. They're going for the lead, and she's having a phenomenal week at Churchill. I mean, just, you know, multiple clockers that I've read are kind of singling her out as a horse that's really doing well. I just don't have faith in and her making the lead this race without going like crazy fast to have to do it. Now, if the connections are able to buffalo the 2 and the 8 into rating, and she gets that aggressive ride and they let her go, Katie bar the doors. I mean, if the 2 and the 8 just say, oh, we can rate this horse wants to go, we'll let it go. That's going to be a big problem for everyone. So Lucara really looks like an all or nothing type. Would not be the least bit surprised if she gets loose and wires them, but I just don't see. Manny Franco is generally pretty aggressive, even though George Weaver's saying that this 5G horse doesn't need the lead and all this stuff. I just hope that the 2 and the 8 don't get choked early, and they let the 7 go, and that's just going to be, the horror scenario for me, because if they let Lucara go and have the lead by herself without going too fast, it's going to be brutal. But I'm hopeful that the 2 or 8 go. And if they do, she goes too fast, she will back up if she gets pressed and goes too fast. So the 8 5G, I just see her as a pace factor only. Made an easy lead at Gulfstream, and the Gulfstream Oaks went wire to wire. The horse that was second there, Anna's Promise, was, claimed for 50,000 a month earlier. In the Honeybee, got loose on Quiet Side, and Quiet Side really didn't take it to her. She just kind of eased off of her and out kicked her. So I mean, she's nothing more than a pace factor for me. The 9 Tenma, Baffert likes to send everything away from there. He wants everything involved. Her last race in the Santa Anita Oaks, a mile and a 16th and 146. And I mean, this was on Santa Anita Derby Day when journalism went 149 and 3. So, I mean, only a 75 buyer. She's going to be aggressively ridden in this race, and that's just a tendency of Baffert. I don't see it with Tenma. I mean, Baffert said she didn't like the track in the Santa Anita Oaks. He said it was too deep for her, and she was struggling with it a bit and still won anyway. But Tenma's just not for me. 10 is Take Charge Milady. Kenny Peake and Brian Hernandez, they won this race last year. She benefited from a good trip and a hot pace in the Ashland, and run a nice second to Lucara, who was loose but going very fast on the lead. The race before in the Honeybee, she had some early trouble, and she just didn't run a step after that. But you look at the race 3 back, she beat Quiet Side by almost 6 lengths in the Martha Washington. And Quiet Side's probably going to be the second choice in the betting in this race. So there's some things to like about Take Charge Milady. She'll handle a fast pace. She's handled a muddy track there, winning nicely at Oaklawn when she broke her maiden. Although in her debut at Ellis, she didn't run too well on a muddy track. So maybe just the experience she gained. Take Charge Milady's a horse you could put underneath, but I just don't see anything more than that. The real story of this race is the 11 Good Cheer. 6 for 6, and she's won all her races by, just blowout margins. Her race last time in the Fairground Oaks, 3 wide on both turns, did not have an easy trip. It wasn't like it was a hard trip. She was just wide. She had early in the race, she was kind of, had a horse outside of her and inside of her. Just overpowered them and finished best. Even a horse like Quick Kick, who's got that big late pace figure, Good Cheer was running away from her in the lane. It just comes down to what price will you accept with Good Cheer, because she's never run faster than a 91. The par for this race, meaning the average winning figure, is a 97, but there's no. Torpedo Anna won this race last year with a 96. Do you think there's a Torpedo Anna in this race? No. There's no Rachel Alexandra that's going to, run a triple digit thing and run off the screen. I mean, this isn't the strongest group, and she is clear cut the best horse of anyone in this race. Her 91 last time came when she did not have an easy trip. I think she's the horse to beat clearly. It's just, is she going to go off 6-5, or is there going to be a drift up? See, the question's really about what price is acceptable to you. And 6-5 is, I want no part of 6-5 on the win end, but I'll play some exotics with good cheer, just singled on in the win slot. And I think we could get some prices under her to make it, to make this race real attractive from a betting standpoint. So the 12 Anna's Promise got claimed for 50,000 at Gulfstream, and come back and win an allowance optional claimer, then run second in the Gulfstream Oaks. She's another horse with some speed. I just don't think she's nearly as good as these horses, and she's going to have she's going to have to win this thing the tough way too. If she does, she's got to be on the pace. It's going to be a hot pace. She won't be able to live it. She did see a sloppy track once. It was in a maiden claiming race at Churchill, and she got loose on the lead that day and got run down. I mean, they caught her in the stretch going 7 furlongs. So, she got loose through 23, 46, and 3 and couldn't see it out. Anna's Promise is not for me. Complete throwout. Here's a horse that I think is very interesting. It's going to be on all my tickets. Bless the Broken, number 13, 30-1 on the morning line. All of these people that like Final Gambit in the Kentucky Derby, I mean, you should, if you like Final Gambit in the Derby, you should love Bless the Broken in the Oaks. I mean, she ran a huge race here on the Tapeta and the Bourbonnette Oaks, and it was a soft pace, 49. Circled up. A horse from the back got to her, and when she saw him, she just kicked away and like almost re-broke. And opened up 3 lengths. And this is not a horse that really figured to like synthetic tracks. I mean, the dam here, the Nightingale, has only had one sibling. It was by Uncle Mo, so it's a 3/4 sibling to this. It run one time on Tapeta and run terrible. I mean, it finished 8th, got off it and run on dirt next time, improved 18 points. And win the race. And, this dam, the Nightingale, is by Tappet, and it's a half-sibling to Princess of Silmar. So the second dam of Bless the Broken produced Princess of Silmar, who won the Kentucky Oaks at 38-1 and was just like this classic on-the-come horse. Here's Princess of Silmar here. She got beaten the Gazelle going into the Kentucky Oaks. Never had a buyer higher than 84, which she run on the inner track at Aqueduct. And, stepped up in the Kentucky Oaks, roughed at the start, 4 wide, 38-1, won the race by a half length, beat Beholder, great horse in Beholder, who went on to win a Breeders' Cup Distaff, beat the boys in the Pacific Classic by like 8 lengths. And, so then after beating Beholder there, she comes back on a good track, a wet track at Saratoga in the Coaching Club Oaks, wins it by 6, wasn't even the favorite. She got real good all of a sudden in the Kentucky Oaks. And this horse is closely related to Bless the Broken. So with Bless the Broken, it's just you're just projecting that this is an improving horse. And, this Bourbonnette Oaks only got an 82, but it got 112 on time form. It got an Equibase number almost as good as just 1 point from Good Cheer's best number. I don't think this horse is a Tapeta horse. I think this is an improving horse. And hopefully you get another big jump forward in the Kentucky Oaks. That's what I'm hoping for, and that's why she's going to be on all my tickets. She could come from off the pace. She ran a sneaky good race on a sloppy track here, went second to Simply Joking. I mean, there's some projection going on here, but I do project her to make a big forward move. And if she does that, she will be on the ticket. She'll handle the wet track. She'll love a fast pace. You know, her last race was really, really good. And maybe she's a Tapeta horse, but I just find that unlikely. I just think, you know, it's just one of those things where she's getting real good and she handled the Tapeta fine, but I think she's gonna take another step forward going back to dirt. The 14 Quiet Side really broke through her last two races at Oaklawn, winning the Honeybee, winning the Fantasy. She had some good 2-year-old form, run a good race in the Spinaway on a muddy track. Was 4 wide from the 11 hole and put away the speed, and Immersive came and run her down in deep stretch there, but Immersive, went on to the Alcibiades, win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, was the 2-year-old champion. There's nothing wrong with Quiet Side on paper, although she's got the 14 hole and she is a speed, and she doesn't always break so good, so maybe having the 14 hole isn't the worst thing. She's going to have to, go a hard mile and an eighth here. She likes to sit second. Well, there's about 4 other horses that are quicker than her, that want to be first or second early. And that Baffert thing's going to be up there pushing. So Quiet Side's really nice horse, and that 8-1, I just don't think you're going to get that 8-1. I'm going to take a shot and play against her a little bit, but also defensively use her in exotics. So if Quiet Side is good enough to overcome, the fast pace and the wide trip she's going to have, we'll tip our cap to her, but we're going to play against her. As far as betting strategy goes, there's 2 horses that are 30-1 on the morning line that I both think have a great shot of getting on the ticket, and that's going to be the key to that's going to be the key to my betting in this race. The number 13, Bless the Broken, 30-1 morning line. I actually think, she is a projection, but if things go like I think they can go, I think she's just going to run a breakthrough race, and she might even win this. So Bless the Broken at 30-1 is just extremely good value. And then the other 30-1 is Quick Kick, and she is an underneath exotic horse all day long for me. I really, really think that she's going to clunk up and get a piece of this. She's going to be running late. She's going to get her pace. She might really like the wet track. She'll be on the ticket. 30-1 morning line. We're going to get her, maybe it's third, maybe it's second, maybe it's fourth. We're going to get Quick Kick on this ticket. So we got 2 different 30-1 morning line horses that we both think have a great shot at getting on this ticket. And that makes, this short price on Good Cheer tolerable, because, you put Good Cheer on top. If you get one of those 2 in for second, you're going to get some money. So that is my betting strategy for the race, my handicapping analysis. Kind of a tricky race. You don't even know what weather you're going to get. You should get a hot pace. Hopefully the riders of the 2 and the 8, Manny Franco and Florent Giroux, don't do something stupid and start choking their horses and just let Lacara, float to the lead real nice and easy, because that's my nightmare scenario if that happens. But we're going to hope that doesn't happen. And that is my analysis of the Kentucky Oaks. Have a nice day, everyone.